Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, then welcome. My name's Christina, and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. So before you guys go, make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and leave any comments that you have for me down below. For today's video, I am working with RoseSkinCo, and if you guys are not familiar, I have worked with them in the past on my channel about 3 to 4 times now, and I've talked about their IPL devices, and today I am going to be addressing all of the frequently asked questions that you guys have had for me in the past. My first video with them was like my first impression and showing you guys a demo, like the first demo of using the IPL device. And then my second video was actually my update to show you guys all of the progress that I made with my IPL device and how my hair and like my experience was going. And then this third video, I believe, was kind of comparing the two. I had the OG IPL handset versus the LUMI. And as you guys can probably imagine, I've had hundreds of questions come in on all 3 of those videos, and I just wanted to address it so it's all here in one video for you. I'm also going to be sharing some tips and tricks with you guys along the way, things that I've learned works best for me whenever I've been using my IPL. So without further ado, let's get started. Essentially, what IPL stands for is intense pulse light, and what it does is it uses pulsed light in order to remove the pigment from your hairs, thus making your hairs thinner and eventually permanently removing them from your skin. So as you guys can imagine, a system like this is going to take consistent use in order to see results. Your use and consistency is going to directly affect your results. So without getting too ahead of myself, let's get into the questions. I could just ramble on, but I have the questions written here and I will go through those now. All right, the first question that was asked a ton of times is how long it takes to see results. Now, based on the majority in clinical tests, you start to see permanent results around 12 weeks. For me personally, as you can probably see in my past videos, I was more around 14 weeks because I did not go up to the highest level. Now with the LUMI, there are 6 different levels. I never went up to 6. I comfortably sat around level 3 and level 4. Now this does not hurt, but it is hot. It can get hot, I should say. So you want to make sure that you use a level that feels comfortable for you, but something that you feel like is effective for your pigment in your hair. I also started to see that my hairs were changing around 3 to 4 weeks, but I didn't see permanent results until around 14 to 16 weeks. It is recommended that you use your IPL device once a week for 12 consecutive weeks, or you can use it twice a week for those 12 consecutive weeks, depending on how coarse or how stubborn your hairs are. For me, I started off with once a week and then I gradually went up to twice a week because I just wanted faster results. And it really did help with lessening the pigmentation once I started using it twice a week. The next question, and it's a big question, is are the results permanent? Now, like I said, your results are directly affected by how consistent you are with it. So with that being said, after the 12 consecutive weeks of using it once or twice a week, they do recommend that you use it once a month for the next 3 months. Following that, it's every 2 to 3 months of touch-ups. So you have to make sure that you do touch it up, which I don't have a big issue with because this one specifically, the LUMI, is supposed to last you 30 years. So it is based on the average flashes that this device carries. So on average, it's supposed to last you about 30 years. So you should be able to touch up every 2 to 3 months as you need. And sometimes there are more stubborn hairs in more stubborn areas. Like for example, for me, I don't have to touch up my legs as often as I have to touch up my underarms. My underarm hairs are way more coarse than my leg hairs. My leg hairs just come in very thin. They can get longer, and as you can see, I'll try to insert old footage of like when my leg hairs were really long. They are long and they are dark, but they're not thick, you know, but my underarm hairs are a little bit more coarse. So just depending, I think, on the texture of your hair and how consistent you were initially in those 12 weeks are going to depend on how often you need to touch it up. But with the touch-ups and everything, your results should be pretty permanent. Like, you shouldn't see that your hairs are growing back the same way that they used to before using the devices. If you stop using it for a year or 2 or 3 or something, maybe your hairs will start to grow back the same way, but I haven't experienced that. My hairs are still very sporadic, like just spotty if I need to touch up. Like if I forget after 3 months to touch it up, I'll just go in with my LUMI and I'm good to go for another couple of months, and I don't have full-on growth anywhere that I've used the LUMI. The next question I've gotten is, do you need eyewear protection? Because I know a lot of people that have experienced getting laser hair removal at like a med spa. They do give you glasses in order to counteract the effects of the laser. However, with the IPL device, you don't need eye protection because this does have a sensor within it to notify the device on when it's against skin. So it doesn't flash if it's not against skin. So that's more of a safety feature. It's very intuitive in that sense, where you can't just like hold it up and press it and then it's going to go off. It's always going to have to touch skin, and then that'll diminish the amount of like light that floods out or pulls out from the actual light panel right here. And even in auto mode and glide mode, as long as it's touching skin, it will activate those modes. However, if you do take it off, you remove it from your skin, it's not going to flash again until it's back on that skin. And as a tip and trick from me, as someone who's used this device pretty often, if the light that's like flooding out from the light panel does bother you, or you just don't want to risk it, you can always just kind of like put it on the skin and then look away and then flash it. So for me, on my underarms, I would use the manual mode where you have to push the button. So I just put it onto the skin where I needed it to, looked away, and then just flashed the button, and I was good. And as far as my legs went, I literally just got so used to using the IPL that I was able to use the auto mode, and I just put it on the skin and I just slowly worked my way up the leg, and I never had to look at it. I was kind of just like this the whole time, and I was perfectly fine. The next question I got is, can you use this on your whole body everywhere you grow hair? The answer, well, short answer, I guess, is yes, you can use this on every part of the body. However, I will link in the description box for you guys their website where they have their FAQs, but where it talks about using it in areas on your body, it does say that they don't recommend it above the cheekbones or on the inner part of the bikini area, which is your labia minora, vagina, scrotum, or anus. So I, on my face, have only ever done my upper lip and a little bit, like I have a couple of stragglers here and there sometimes, so I've done my chin as well. And anywhere that you have more sensitive skin, they do recommend that you go down on intensity level. Even if you're used to it on other parts of your body, go down on intensity level and then just kind of work your way up from there. All right, next question is, how do you prep your skin for an IPL treatment? And I love this question because I feel like I've learned a lot from my IPL treatments, and I feel like I have a good grasp on recommending to you guys a really good routine that I found really works for me, and it makes me excited. Okay, so first, what you're gonna wanna do before you even pull out your IPL device, I like to do this one day, maybe like a whole 24 hours before using my IPL. So for instance, again, let's talk about the legs. Say we're treating the legs. In the shower, I will exfoliate my body and I'll exfoliate the areas that I'm going to treat. I do prefer a sugar scrub. I feel like it's a little more fine than something like a salt scrub, and it doesn't irritate my sensitive skin. And then the next thing I do is I shave. And while it seems a little counterintuitive to have to shave in order to use an IPL to get rid of the hair, it makes sense because what you're trying to target is the root of the hair. You're not trying to target the actual length of the hair, you know what I mean? What you want is more access to the follicle of your hair. So you're going to want to make sure that you shave the legs in this scenario. However, my big tip on this, you can either shave the hair 1, maybe 2 days before doing the treatment, because you want to make sure that there's a tiny bit of hair coming out of the pore, but not a lot. Or my preferred way is shaving with the grain of the hair. So say my leg hairs grow down, I'm going to want to shave it downwards. And the reason being is, again, you want like the tiniest amount of hair on there so it can really target it, and then use that to target the pore or target the follicle. And after that, 24 hours after doing my prep work, I went in with my IPL, did my treatment, and then I was good for the next time that I went and did my treatment. So those are the biggest tips I have for prepping the skin. And then you want to make sure post-treatment that you moisturize the skin. You did go in with kind of like a hot light, you know, so you want to make sure that you treat that skin. So I like to go in with a really nice thick moisturizer, usually something that is fragrance free, because I find that I don't want anything that's going to irritate the skin after doing a treatment. Okay, how often should you use your device? Now, like I mentioned, it is recommended that you either do it once a week for 12 weeks as the initial period, or you can do it twice a week for 12 weeks. I think that that's up to your discretion based on what your hairs and the pigmentation on your hair looks like. Okay, the next question, how do I know which level of intensity to use on my body? So for me, that varied based on the areas that I was treating. So for my legs, I could go higher in intensity, whereas under my underarms, I had to go lower in intensity, and I went slower going up in intensity than I did with my legs because my underarms were more sensitive, and I was okay with that. You know, you want to make sure that you listen to your body and what it's comfortable with. I always kind of ventured around 3 to 4 intensity levels, and I felt like that was good for my pigmentation and for the thickness and coarseness of my hairs. Go with something that feels comfortable for you. You're going to want to make sure that you can feel it, but you're not going to want anything that feels like uncomfortable. Like, it's okay if it's warm, but make sure it doesn't like burn, you know? There's no reason to go through pain when using your IPL. The way that I see it is that you have this device at home, so you can use this as often as you need to or as long as you need to, because you're not paying extra. So for instance, if you're getting laser hair removal, you pay for X amount of treatments, right? So say you have 12 treatments booked, and then after that, you have to pay extra if, say, the hairs are still growing back or there's still spots that are still growing back. So with this, you can use it for, I don't know, 16 weeks, 17 weeks if you need to, and that's totally fine. And you can go at the pace that you're comfortable with because you already have this at home. Okay, can you use this over tattoos, freckles, moles? So the short answer to this is no, because again, this targets pigmentation. So when it comes to tattoos, the pigment of your tattoo, you don't want to mess with the integrity of the ink. Like this mole, I love this mole. So whenever I go in and treat my upper lip, I completely ignore that mole. Or something that I've done, which is another hack and something that they recommend, and I was like mind blown when they did, is to go in with a white eyeliner pencil or something, cover it completely, because again, pigment, it's going for the pigment. So if you cover it with white, cancels it out, and then just go over. And I haven't had any loss in pigmentation on my beauty mark, and I was really happy about that. So the next question, and probably the last one, is going to be, what were my results? People are asking me for updates on my experience with my LUMI, and to be quite frank with you guys, I've had really good experiences with this. I don't have a lot of negative things to say. I was trying to think of like my entire experience, and probably the biggest negative, like the biggest con that I can think of, is me being consistent with it. It's really difficult for me to just continue to be consistent with something that takes like X amount of months, because I love to jump around and try new things, and I don't know, I just get distracted. But a really easy way for me to remember to use this was just implementing it within my skincare routine once a week or twice a week. I did it the same days that I did face masks. I would do it twice a week. So I do face masks twice a week. I usually do Sunday and Wednesday, and then I would put my face mask on, I would do my whole routine, put my face mask on, and then I would go in with my LUMI while I waited for my face mask to set or dry or absorb or whatever kind that I was using. And that was the easiest way for me to be consistent with it. Now, another question people asked about my results was that if I have hair grow back. So for me, my most stubborn areas that I've treated again are my underarms, and that area does grow a couple of hairs once or twice, like every couple months, I guess, and I'm able to treat those. And I think the reason being is, again, I've had to use less of an intensity level under my underarms than anywhere else on my body, because that area, my skin is more sensitive. But like I said, I don't really mind it because I do have the device at home and I can use it whenever I want to use it. But with saying that, my underarm hairs are way less thick and coarse than they were back when I was like shaving them or waxing them, you know? The hair grows in super fine now. And as far as my legs, the place I've seen hair grow back mainly, like those spots, are my knees, because those hairs were more coarse than the rest of my hairs. So I've had to touch up those areas a couple of times. But other than that, my hairs, like, they'll grow super, super slow if they grow back, and they're super sparse and like spotty. Like, I just have tiny little like spots, I guess, when they grow back, like little patches, not like my entire leg. Oh, but I do want to note, so because this device does target pigment, if your hairs are darker and your skin is lighter, it's going to work better for you than, say, if you have very pale skin and blonde hair, because again, it needs to kind of differentiate the pigment of your hair from your skin. So I hope that makes sense. And also, if you're a darker complexion and you have dark hair, it may not pick up as much as someone that has more of a contrast within their hair and their skin. They have this on their website. They have like questions that you can answer to see if their product, the LUMI, is good for you. I think it's really great that RoseSkinCo is very transparent with that. They're not just trying to sell you a product and say like, oh yeah, this is going to work for you for sure. Like, they do have a disclaimer, and they do say on their website, like, this may not be the product for you, or this may work perfectly for you, you know? And they also give you recommendations on other products they think will work better for you if the LUMI is not like suited to your skin type and your hair. Overall, when it comes to hair removal, I feel like this is the best investment that you can make, because it's not something that you have to continuously buy every month. For example, with razors, you have to buy those every couple of weeks, and then with wax, you have to buy that every couple months or something, depending on how often you use it. Whereas for this, again, like I said, this should last you up to 30 years. This is less than $200, and you have this to use for years and years. So I really feel like it's worth it. I'll put in the description box down below any codes that I have, if I have them. Okay, that is everything for this video. I hope that I answered y'all's questions in this video. Hopefully you're able to get some clarification, and I really hope that this helps you decide if the LUMI is the right product for you when it comes to removing your hair on your body and all that stuff. So if I missed anything, like I said, please leave that in the comments down below so I can cover that in the comments in my replies. If you guys enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, or both, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Again, thank you so much to RoseSkinCo for sponsoring this video. I love working with you guys. And if I have any information for you, it'll be in the description box down below. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.